Okay, now we're going to have a look at question 4 of 2019, paper 2. So on question 4 it said the circle C is enclosed by a square PQRS and touches all four sides, as shown in the diagram. The coordinates of the three vertices are 2, 3, 4, 17 and minus 4, 11. Right, find the coordinates of Q. For this shape, you know it's a square, so you know that basically this is the same distance from here and the same distance from here. So in other words, if I transform this point to this point, I have gone from minus 4 to 4. So from minus 4 to 4, I have gone plus 8 on my x. If I've gone from 11 to 17, I have gone plus 6 on my y. Alright, so if I'm doing the same thing from here, I'm transforming this point to this point. So I'm going to add 8 onto my x. So 2 plus 8 gave me 10. And I'm going to add 6 on my y, so 3 plus 6 gave me 9. Okay, so I'm assuming that my point is 10, 9. I can check by going down the way either. So if I'm going down the way, I'm going from minus 4 to 2, so the difference, the transformation from minus 4 to 2, is I would have had to add 6 to my x, and if I'm going from 11 to 3, I would have had to take away 8 on my y. So if I check here, if I have 4 plus 6, I got 10, which worked. And if I have 17, take away 8, I got 9. So I know this point is correct. So my coordinates of Q were 10, 9. And how you worked it out, as I explained, was transformations. Find the coordinates of the center of C. So if you look back at the picture again, you were trying to find the center of C. So in terms of what you're doing, your center of C would be the midpoint of the diagonals. So if you choose two of the diagonals and get the midpoint, in terms of doing it, I would advise to choose OR and P because they gave you both of those points in case you made a mistake for getting your Q. But you could have done it with Q either. So you are getting the midpoint between OR and P. So we want the midpoint between OR and P. So write down what your OR is. So OR was 417. P was 2, 3. Label them x1, y1, x2, y2. Write your formula for midpoint. So you've got x1 and x2 divided by 2. y1 and y2 divided by 2. Plug them into the formulas. Can you see what I'm doing? You can. Right, so you would have 4 and 2 divided by 2, and you would have 17 and 3 divided by 2. So our midpoint, our coordinates of the center would be 6 divided by 2, 20 divided by 2. As you all know, 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 20 divided by 2 is 10. Alright, so the center of our circle is 310. On the top of the next page, it tells you to find the length of your radius. So the length of the radius is from the center to the edge. So if we look back at our circle, right, if we have our center, we now know our center is 310. Right? We want to go from center to edge. So in terms of center to the edge, the points they have given us are not at the edge. We want to get a point at the edge. So if we are going to get that point, right, it is halfway between your P and your Q. Okay, so if we get that point, or if you got that point halfway between S and P, and then got the distance from your center to that point. So we go with this one again, just in case we made a mistake with Q, but I know we haven't. So we want to get midpoint between S and P. So you write down what S was, so we've got minus 4, 11. We've got P, which is 2, 3. Label them x1, y1, x2, y2. Which meant to be an x. Plug them into your formula, so you have minus 4 plus 2 divided by 2. We have 11 and 3 divided by 2. Separate them by a comma. So minus 4 plus 2 gives us minus 2. So we get minus 2 over 2. Or we get 14 over 2. So that midpoint is equal to minus 1, 7. Alright, so if I show you what I'm talking about, this point here is minus 1, 7. So if I want to get the length of the radius, I'm going to get the distance from this point to this point. So I'm going to get the distance between minus 1, 7 and 3, 10. So let's go back over here. So my points are minus 1 and 7 and 3, 10. And I want to get the distance. So again, x1, y1, x2, y2. Plug them into your distance formula, which is square root 1 on page 18. So you're going to go x2, which is 3 minus 1 squared, plus y2, which is 10 minus 7 squared. So you work it out. So 3 plus 1 gave you 4. 10 take away 7 gave you 3. So 4 squared is 16. 3 squared gave you 9. So you're getting the square root of 25, which is 5. Okay. The final bit of this sum asks you to find the equation of the circle C. So you want an equation of a circle. For an equation of a circle, you need its center and you need its radius. Right? So our circle, we know its center is 310. We have just worked out its radius as being 5. So your formula for equation of a circle from the book is x minus h squared, y minus k squared equals r squared. You just plug them in, so you're going x minus 3 squared plus y minus 10 squared equals 5 squared. Just tidy it up. You don't have to multiply out the brackets, but square up your radius. And that's that done, and that took 7 and a bit minutes.